Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Old Gold and Black. It's me, Tom Rouse, of course, and I'm joined today by Dazzling Dave. Dave, where can people find you, and what do you do?
So obviously my YouTube channel's Dazzling Dave. My Instagram is Dazzling Dave without the G, and my Twitter's _Dazzling Dave as well. And obviously that's me, really, pretty much.
Yeah, so what can people expect to find on your YouTube channel then?
The YouTube channel's a lot of wolves stuff, 80% wolves, and you get the odd crazy life stuff as well. It's a bit of travel, and just a bit of my life. It's 80% wolves and football, and 20% just me doing random things.
And that, I suppose, that Venn diagram is yeah, they do, yeah. But that Venn diagram's closing a little bit, isn't it? Because you've done quite a lot of travelling for the Wolves this year, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be to Torino, to Istanbul. Went over to Braga, which I thought was going to be really sunny, and it took it down rain. Apart from the last day when we had a bit of sun, I've had some fantastic trips, and obviously the last one in Barcelona, which was great, and that seems so long ago.
I know.
Like, if you think it's two months ago, and the world that we're in now, it was just sort of like the worries are starting then, weren't they? And they're like, here we are. It seems like a world away. When will we be able to go travel and watch our team? And we've waited 40 years for Wolves to be in Europe, and then this pandemic comes and it's just not fair.
It's typical Wolves, isn't it? Typical Wolves.
It is typical Wolves, but we will get through.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking about travelling far and wide. I'm just wondering, the next time we'll be able to travel to the Molineux to be able to see a game at the moment.
You know what, Tom? I put a reflection on that on my Instagram a couple of days ago, a picture of Molineux, and I was just thinking exactly that. Because let's face it, it is our home, isn't it? It's our spiritual home. When will we be able to go to Molineux again and cheer on the team without any worries and stuff? And the answer to that is, I don't know when it will be. Will it be this year? Will it be, it won't be, obviously, if they get to finish the season, it won't be part of this. Will it be the start of next season? Will it be part way through? I mean, there's been reports about the whole of next season might be behind closed doors as well. We just don't know, do we? No. Let's hope that things get sorted and they develop the treatments and, to help people, and we can get back sooner rather than later, because we are all really missing it. It's not the same. We watched the behind closed door match against the Olympiacos, and it's surreal for the players as well, isn't it? It's not the same.
Go on, sorry.
Although we'd accept that for the end of this season to get the season completed, which I think, from all the fans that I've talked to through my channel and stuff, everyone wants to see completed. However long it takes, and then worry about the start of next season, because there's so much effort, and it's not like we're like 3/4 of the way through the season, and there's so much effort, and people have spent so much money following their team, and so much has gone. You can't just void the season now, and it just needs completed, even if it puts the start of next season back till next year. Complete this season and then worry about the rest.
Yeah,
that's just most people think. I think.
Yeah, I do. I completely agree. I think that it should be next season that's more greatly affected than this season. But the point of this show, Dave, is to have a little bit of a reminisce and a bit of nostalgia as well. So I've asked you to find your favourite Wolves kit that you own, and if you could tell the story as to why it's special to you.
Well, in terms of the favourite kits, I've got this one, which I bought recently, which I do love. And I do love this one from last year. And I know people say it's yellow.
Well, when you've just held up the 1974 League Cup one, and it looks a completely different club to the last season's kit, doesn't it?
It does. But the thing is, I mean, I've had this because people are saying yellow. I remember putting a tweet out of Watford strip and the Wall strip from last year. The Watford strip That's yellow.
Mm.
That's old gold. And if you look back, my dad's on some of my videos, see my dad wearing a shirt from the period of when he was born. I bought him a
Yeah.
little replica. It's exactly the same colour.
Mm.
No, not that one. As
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
But so I did love that. I think it was a bit of a Marmite strip. I think you either really loved it or nah, that's not right. But actually, that's probably the traditional Wolves old gold from way back. This year's trip I haven't been over too keen on. It's just although it looks great under the lights, but
Yeah.
I'm wearing my current favourite one. I love this kit. I love the black. I love the gold. If they did this in kind of like a gold version, it would be amazing. And I'm pretty confident that next year the stripes will be back on the top of the kit. I reckon next year's kit, whenever it comes out, is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my current favourite one, just because I think it looks just lush.
Yeah, it's funny because you're not the only person who's picked a very recent kit. Quite a few people have picked the home kit from last season and sort of said that the colour was a bit different to what we used to, but the memories from that shirt are amazing. Like you think of the FA Cup games against United and Liverpool, and the like Chelsea game at home, Spurs game away. Those games where we wore that kit and will live with us forever. What's been your?
I mean that night. I mean, from last year. The Man United quarter-final game, the whole excitement, the buzz around everything building up to that game, the gold flags. I know that the wind blew some of them around, but it was absolutely magical. And the way the game unfolded, the atmosphere was like nothing I'd ever seen. And at the end of that, I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch back that vlog that I did, the emotion. And obviously, that was when my very, very good friend who was very close to, Bill, Sean Connery, who sat next to me for 20 years, he was part of that, and his emotion. And obviously, we sadly lost him very suddenly in December, which was a real shock to us. But I'm glad that he got to witness that, because there's a story behind that game. And Bill, he lived in Buxton, which is quite a way to travel. And where he worked, they were all Man United fans, and it meant so much to him that we beat Man United, and for myself as well, because the company that I work with, I'm a marketing consultant, and they've got a regional office in Manchester. And 2.5-3 years ago, when Fosun bought Wolves, I sat down and I said, "Watch Wolves. We're going to be competing for the top 6 in a couple 2 or 3 years time. We're going to be going for Champions League and Europe." And they ripped the pee out of me, literally, and laughed at me. And were taking the mick for a long, long time. Oh, here he comes, that deluded Wolves fan, every time we had a regional office. And I can tell you what, Tom, the day after that quarter-final, I had a regional meeting in Manchester. I walked into the office and I held my scarf up, the whole office, and I went, "You ain't laughing now." And they just all come over to me one at a time and like, you told us. And it was quite a nice special moment, because for a long time, it's the ton of the moment that they all sort of took Wolves seriously. They are a serious side, and I think the realisation in the media generally last year it was good little Wolves having a go. Now this year it's kind of like, these mean business, and that's kind of why it's so frustrating that everything's come to this grinding halt. But yeah, absolutely magical. That match.
So very similarly, I had a bet with somebody. It was a friend of a friend back in 2018 after our promotion, and I said, "I bet you 20 quid Wolves will be a Champions League team by the end of this season, currently 2020." Now, depending on how they decide to end the season, if they choose to finish it halfway at the halfway point, Wolves finished fifth. Wolves are fifth.
That's
and
with
City,
in France.
So that's what they've done in. I think there's a couple of countries who are either planning to do that or whatever. But however we do it, if we continue with the season, I think we've got a good chance of finishing fourth properly. If they take it on points per game, I think we stay in seventh. But the halfway point is the one that I want, because with City
We were
being
fifth.
banned as
Yeah,
well.
I saw that. We were actually fifth, and
Yeah.
I read something about that and France. So yeah, that would suit us.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So let's
Yeah.
move on to the next part then, Dave. Your non-Wolves kit that you've picked.
I've got a main one, but I do love the Mexico top.
Yeah, good. Get it on the screen. That's it. I can get it in the title now.
I do love the Mexico top.
Yeah.
That's one, but this is my current favourite.
Okay. I
And
wonder why that is.
It's Club America.
Yeah.
Obviously, Raul Jimenez and all of that, he came from there. But a subscriber actually bought me this,
Oh wow.
posted it me and sent it to me. And he said, "Do you want one?" And I was like, yeah, what do I need to do? He says, "No, I really love your channel. I want you to have it."
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
the only thing I had to do was go and have a photograph for him outside of Molyneux wearing it. I put that on my Instagram, Dazzling Dave. If you scroll down, you'll see it, and he was chuffed to bits for that. But yeah, no, I think the current Mexico top is really, it's got the Aztec symbols on it, and it's obviously, quite nice. Just, and then the Club America top as the number one. I love the patterns on it. It's very sort of Latin American, and yeah, love it.
It's a very good story as well. I've been sent stuff by a subscriber. But do you think the Wolves will? I think it's inevitable at some point, but there's going to be a friendly, isn't there, between Wolves and Club America at some point? It's got to be.
Can you imagine Wolves and Club America? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if it's in Mexico? I'd want to go, man. Yeah. I would want to go to that. That would be magical. If you're a Wolves fan and you went over there wearing your Wolves top and stuff, they would love you, wouldn't they? Because they love the fact that Raul's doing so well, and they're very, very proud of how he's doing, and they're very passionate about their football over there. And Club America is such a massive team.
Yeah, I think there were rumours. There were rumours of Wolves pre-season this year being in America and doing some kind of tour and playing Club America in Texas, which would be
mad as well, wouldn't it?
Because there's such a huge Mexican population there, and it would have just the Wolves YouTubers would have gone mad, wouldn't they? The likes and the views.
It would be absolutely amazing, because if they did go and play in America or something like that, it's not just because for me, with going for the European trips and stuff, I'm not like one of these that gets on a plane, gets off, goes to the match, and goes next day. And I know sometimes you have to do that, with family commitments and all that sort of jazz. But when I went to most places, I tried to go for 3 or 4 days, so I can. If I'm going all that way, I want to see a bit of the culture and sample a bit of the food and stuff, which is why I end up doing the travel vlogs as well. Like the Istanbul travel vlog was quite a good one. And you get to experience some of the actual culture whilst you're over there. So I tend to go for 3 or 4 days, and then obviously build up to the match and then have a couple of days afterwards. But if it was in America or Mexico, I think very, very tempted to go and do that, but when that will happen now?
Oh, you've just spoiled the dream for me, Dave. I was just imagining traveling.
One day.
Yeah. So right, the next part of the show, then we're going to have a look at some video clips, and the first one that we're going to look at is a Wolves one. There's not going to be any sound on it though, Dave. So if you could just explain to me, can you see on the screen now? Yeah.
Oh yes.
We'll talk over it then. So this is Wolves against Cardiff from 2018. Why have you picked this moment?
Well, let me just move you on my screen so over to that. Why have I picked this? It's because I didn't actually go to this game. I'm fortunate enough now to be able to get enough points to get to most of the away games, but I didn't actually go to this one. But the reason why I picked this is literally, it was such a key moment in that season, the promotion season. Cardiff, Neil Warnock, the build-up, they were like our arch rivals, and they were Fulham were chasing us down as well. I mean, that save, the initial save there, you can see from John Ruddy. You're thinking, oh my God, if we get these 3 points, we're doing it. And then they get the penalty, don't they, in the last minute? Yeah. Ruddy saves it. And you're like, the relief, the stress that I went through watching that game. I think all Wolves fans, it was so stressful. And you're thinking, okay, we've saved the penalty. which is absolutely fantastic. Ruddy saved it, and you think, right, okay, just ride this out now till the end of the game. Just ride it through, and of course, the amazing. I've never seen in my life 2 penalties awarded in injury time before, and I think Cav got a bit of criticism at the time, didn't they? Because
why is he gone diving in?
Looking it back, he slipped trying to stop, and he slid through and took the guy just on the edge of the area. And I think it's coming up very, very soon. He does actually slip as he goes to try and make the tackle, and of course it's just inside the box. And when that happens, you're thinking to yourself, you're just thinking to yourself, it's going to be. I mean, it's absolute carnage in the Wolves box.
Like almost every player is in the Wolves box there.
It's literally. It's like you've got 2 teams. You've got Wolves that try playing passing football. There it's happened now. And then you've got Cardiff that just bombed the ball in, and it was just a siege. And you're thinking at this point, and do you know what? The weird thing is watching it, Tom, I am quite a positive person generally. The weird thing is I was worried about the first one. I had a feeling it's gonna save it. It's not gonna go. I had this feeling, and then when it hit the bar, it bounces down, doesn't it, underside the bar, and then it's cleared out like it happens now. Boing! They come in again, and it's cleared out. And then following this, I don't know about you, I am literally running around the room like an absolute madman. I'm going berserk. And Nuno runs onto the pitch. I mean, the emotion. Nuno expresses that emotion just the same as us Wolves fans, as a fan. The relief, what it meant in that moment. And I know he got criticism for it, and you see the old Ben Hill music with him trying to shake Warnock's hand and Warnock being like how he is, and the whole thing around it. Can you blame Nuno for running on the pitch there? No. Would I want to change that from Nuno, that passion?
No, exactly.
Absolutely no. And I'm so glad he did. And I know he peed off Neil Warnock, who basically also really secretly always wanted to manage Wolves, let's face it.
He did.
And it's a fact. And when you hear him talk, generally, he comes across, but like he's such a sour loser. But it was such a key moment in that season. And I think that moment, the Cardiff moment, was it just after the Middlesbrough game?
It was a week after, so the Hull game was in the middle, but we played Middlesbrough on Good Friday, and then the following Friday was the Cardiff game,
Well, I think the fact that the Middlesbrough game where we fought with 9 men for the whole game, they scored right at the end, and we got through that, and then beat Cardiff, I think that was the moment where I thought, we're doing it. And so that's why it was such an iconic moment. And when you said this, there's so many things like the Neves goal against Derby and the Man U quarter-final and all of that sort of jazz. You look at the first time I got promoted at the Millennium, but that moment just clicked into my mind, so that's why I went with it.
Yeah, fantastic moment, and one of my favourite moments as well. Lots and lots of very good memories from that. Those couple of days that I spent down in Wales. But the next one you've chosen is, I imagine, is quite a bittersweet memory. So, the Italia '90 semi-final of the World Cup against West Germany. We've already had one person choose Italia '90, but it was the Belgium quarterfinal. Second round game, I think it was.
With the last minute goal.
Manny chose that one. So you've chosen this game. So why is this a particularly fond memory, or maybe there's a story behind it?
I think it's more, to be honest. I was obviously a young lad watching this, and it was the whole thing around Italia '90, like the Nessun music, Pavarotti, watching it with my dad. England getting so close to the final, like you say, you see the goal there. That goal there, it's a deflected goal. It's just typical Wolves and typical England in it. It loops up over the top of Shilton and drops in the net. And we got to the semi-final, and the whole magic about that semi-final, and it was Dazzling that was presenting. I can remember with his little moustache. Saying strap in and watch the game, and watching that, and Robson, who was an iconic manager, Lineker getting that goal, I'm thinking about the 80th minute. And and we got so close. And it was a bit like the semi-final the year. We got so close.
Yeah.
And there's Gaza, obviously, previously, when getting the card, knowing he would miss
It's this bit here, isn't it? Yeah.
he would miss the final, and Lineker going.
Do you know what Gazza's doing here as well? He puts his fingers over his mouth because the German player was screaming so much. He covers his mouth so that the ref can't hear him.
Is that what he does?
Yeah.
Fantastic. But obviously that wouldn't happen now because the after the is it the quarters or the semis? So some of the cards are are wiped off. Let's get a red, I think.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't happen now. But hitting the side of the post there, we were so close.
Mm.
And there's another one later on where the ball comes across the area, and Gascoigne I think he's literally a tenth of a second late, and he just goes past his boot. He just can't quite connect with it.
I think you're thinking of Euro '96 there.
Is that Euro '96?
Yeah, because that would have been a golden goal as well. That would have got them to the final.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It is actually. I've got them all mixed up in the thing. Yeah. But we were so close, like that waddle inside of the post and then going out on penalties again. And I don't know, but the whole tournament brought the nation together, didn't it? It was magical. And although we didn't get to the final and we went out again on penalties, we were all really, really proud. And as a young lad, it just sticks with me. And it kind of happened again in the last World Cup, didn't it? Where we got to the semis.
I think, and quite similarly as well to 1990, that nobody was expecting anything, were they, from this England team? And they overperformed, overachieved, and that's why people started to like them then, because they were very underrated, but were loved.
I think I've recently got Amazon Prime, and there's a documentary on Italian United. I watched it back, and it talks about that. The media was really on Robson's back, building up to that tournament and the flyers and everything. There was nothing expected about it at all. And then gradually there was this build. And when they came back off the plane, they were welcomed back. They went as donkeys and they came back as heroes, didn't they?
Do you think it was particularly special for Wolves fans because Bully was there?
Yeah, obviously, that I think he's on the pitches, and when Platt scores in the Belgium game, and he used to think he's one of the first players there. You always see him on the thing. Bully being there was absolutely magical to have a Wolves player as part of that squad. I was listening. Was it The Athletic? I was listening to when he was on the other day when he was almost going to be on the pitch, and then Lineker scored in the semi-final, and he had to go and sit back down. But to have him there was special, and he deserved it. Let's face it. He was in what other? Will it ever happen again that you get a player from the third tier of English football that's in a World Cup squad and playing some game time?
Yeah.
What happened if he had got on and then scored the winner? It would have been that would have been unbelievable. But what a magical experience to be part of that, and also to have a Wolves player part of that squad. And when will we ever get another Wolves player as part of that squad? I know me and you have often disagreed about Cody.
I do think he should be given a go in the England team. I think if the Euros had been happening this summer, I would have picked Cody in that squad. A, because he's a leader and he's mouthy and he's a personality. And then B, he's versatile. He could play right back. He could play centre back of a form, even though he's not done it very much.
And if we did switch to a three, he'd be the perfect player to be.
There is no English player plays in that position in the Premier League. He could also play midfield if required. I think he would be a perfect squad member for an England team. But alas, he's got another year supposed to try and get in that squad.
And Cody is so much how he speaks and communicates as well. He's like just an ordinary guy, and he says all the right things. Inside, he's probably frustrated, but he's got that dignity. Yeah. He'll bide his time, and hopefully he will get his chance because I think he deserves a chance, like you say, to be tried out. We'll see what happens, but I feel like he's been so unlucky.
Yeah. Right, we're going to have a look at a couple of other clips you've sent me now. So,
yeah.
Not to do with not to do with football at all, but they are to do with sport, of course, so we will accept them. This one is from the Rugby World Cup final in 2003. So talk us through this one then, Dave.
So I was in an AGM at the time. It was being held on a weekend, and it was the day that the Rugby World Cup was on. And it was supposed to the annual general meeting of this body was supposed to start after the game. Of course, it went into extra time, and they were all in there, and I was glued along with a load of us watching this. And the fact that we won, it was England in the final. The tension, it was in Australia. I do love my rugby union. I'm not really into like the club rugby, but the international, I really do quite enjoy watching. And then to win it in the way that they won it, because if you think about England football and stuff, we'd had so many near misses and things like that. So to actually win a World Cup, even though it was the rugby one, and the way that we won it in Australia against your arch rivals, and to put that drop kit over like that he did to win. It was quite special, and it was kind of like that Italia 90 thing. People really got behind the team, didn't they? It was quite a special moment, so that's kind of why I picked that one.
Yeah, I was very young at the time. I was only 12 when that was happening, but I do remember for the first time in my life being really interested in rugby and getting up early in the morning because the games were like kicking off at 7 o'clock in the morning. I think that game kicked off, and just starting to love rugby. And then your other memory that you've sent to me is another England moment, another England World Cup winning moment from just a couple of months ago. So talk us through this one then, Dave.
Yeah, well, my dad and my granddad was always loving his cricket. And at school, I wasn't a bad little cricketer. And again, it was kind of the drama, wasn't it? Cricket, people see it as this boring game and stuff like that. It can be, and you can play for 5 games. I mean, Americans can never understand how you can play 5 games and it be a draw. But the way it went, the way they got to the final again, and the way it went to this super over, and the drama of the swings during that final throughout the whole day, and then they were going for to run him out, and they needed one more run to win and to get it and to win. I've never been so excited watching a game of cricket. It was just absolutely fantastic. And then again, England getting through, because I don't know whether it was the 2020 or whatever, they had a chance a previous time, and then against West Indies, and the guy hit about 4 sixes.
That's right. Yeah.
So to win it was fantastic in the way. So it's brilliant. And then you kind of think, if we can one day replicate that with the England national team in football, would be fantastic. And obviously Wolves winning the FA Cup one day would be amazing as well. But that's why I picked it, the drama of it. It was just it was gripping.
When you said about the country being joined together, then there was a quote from Owen Morgan after that game when he was asked about having the look of the Irish with him. And he said, well, Adil Rashid, who, of course, a Muslim player, said they also had Allah smiling on them. So that proved, we are this multicultural society now, and we shouldn't be ostracizing people. Everybody should be joined together. And, the England cricket team represented that perfectly.
And that's what it pulls people together. And that's what sport does, Tom. It brings people, no matter what your background, together. When you go into a game and stuff like that. What was it like that day when we went to Wembley? I know it was like we were crying afterwards, and devastated. But the whole camaraderie of us all coming together to support our team at Wembley. And that day, the whole magical, everyone was hugging each other. You got the flags, you got the sky. It was magical, and that's what sport does, and that's why we love football. That's why we love our team. And even though we've had dark days with Wolves, and we had dark days, going all the way down, half the ground closed, and that's why we can appreciate it so much more, that where we are now as a football club, as a fan base, because we've been crap. We've had so many near misses. That Bolton game many years ago in the playoffs, and so many full storms where we've had a team to go up, and it's kind of like, how long can we stay there? I've said it a couple of times. We're witnessing Wolves' second golden age.
Mm.
The
Well,
first one was the
I've heard you
50s
saying
and the
that before, but
second
I
one.
would argue that it's the third golden age because the 70s is lauded as being one of the best teams the Wolves have ever had. The, European Cup final, well, UEFA Cup final, League Cup winners in 74 and 80 as well. So I know
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
know what you're saying, but
I suppose so. I suppose
yeah,
you could say that. But when you look at Wolves of the 50s and the 60s and the championships they won,
mm,
they were the number one team
yeah,
in the 50s and the 60s. And the 70s, yeah, okay, could have really gone on to be, if we hadn't hit what happened and then just
mm,
dropped down. It was a shame because that was a real platform to build on.
yeah,
Whereas I believe that this team, with the finance they've got, the backing they've got, the fan base that's building, to try and get into the game, the plans that they've got, the infrastructure in the training
yeah,
facilities, the modern thing, the team ethic, and the global fan base that we now have.
mm,
This team I seriously can see pushing to win the Premier League
yeah,
in the next 5 or 6 years, to be in the Champions League and go a long way, to
mm,
win the Europa League and to win lots of trophies. And I feel like the potential for this team and what it can achieve
mm,
is boundless, more than alongside when we look back at the glory days of Wolves, and we look back at the 50s and 60s, you wouldn't particularly say the 70s. So that's why I kind of say I think that was a great era or few years, but I think
mm.
this is
It's going to surpass that.
proper
Yeah,
golden
I think.
era that it could be.
Yeah, I think people are comparing this current team to the 70s at the moment because we haven't won anything yet with this team, and
Yeah,
the 70s they did win 2 trophies, or 1980 if we count that as the same kind of era. They won 2 trophies, so at the moment they're still the second greatest Wolves team. We're currently third, I think, is probably fair to say. But you just touched
yeah.
on there as well about expanding the club and stuff like that. What are your opinions on Molineux as a ground? Do you think we must stay there, or are you open to a move to a super ground?
Personally, having been to the likes of Brighton and West Ham, West Ham's a magnificent looking stadium, designed for the Olympics, but it's not great as a spectacle. I'd say 95% definitely want to stay Molineux where it is if they can, because it's the heart and soul of Wolverhampton, and that's one of the things that makes Molineux and Wolves special, is it's so close to the town centre, and if you moved it, it will kill the city centre. It's just great that you can go and then walk down to the ground. But then you look on the other thing, it's like, if they can't do it there, there's a lot of space by that. Is it the M50 or whatever?
Yeah,
it
the
is,
I-54, yeah.
to I-52. So 95. I think every Wolves fan is going to say, please, can we keep Molineux where it is if we can? But if they can't do it and they have to improve the facilities to do what they want to do, then it might have to happen. But I don't think they would do it without really trying to make sure. How do you, at the moment, we've got is it 10,000 on the waiting list for season tickets?
Yeah.
At the moment, you'd have to reduce the capacity massively when there's such demand, and to try and increase the capacity, and it's difficult to do. You either do that by knocking the whole thing down and play somewhere else for a couple of years, or you play there and you build a brand new purpose-built stadium, build stuff around it, have shuttle buses from the city and stuff like that to try and work it. But the council, hopefully will support the development plans at Molineux, because let's face it, it's in their interest to do it, because if it does move, it's going to have an impact. Yeah. So hope it stays where it is. If it does move and they've exhausted every opportunity, it'd just be something we'd probably have to just accept and embrace.
Sadly, that's the price of success, isn't it, at the moment, really, I think, with the very top teams.
But they are able to keep it where it is.
Yeah, let's have a look then at your final piece then, a piece of memorabilia. I don't know what it is at all. A bit of mystery to it. So what have you got?
So I've got a few old. I haven't got that much memorabilia, to be honest. I've got a few old things from when I was a kid, like this is Burnley when we played in Division 2 program.
Mm-hmm.
This Plymouth one. But the one that I'm going to pull out, which I've kept, is this.
Okay.
This is
okay. Well, I was say 125. Okay.
Yeah, the program from the 125th anniversary of. We're talking about Molyneux, and that's the program. And we played Blackburn.
Okay.
And I kept this program, and I think that was quite a good program to keep. And it was the commemorative edition, and it was on the 30th of August, 2014. And we were playing Blackburn, and the Wolves team at that day in the squad, Carl Hakimi, Matt, you look at it now, Matt Doherty, Scott Garwin, Dave Edwards, Stearman, Bath, James Henry, Saville, remember him, Leon Clark, Bakary Sacco, Kevin McDonald, Aaron McCarry, Lee Evans, Tommy Rowe, Van La Parra, Samuel Ricketts. We all, that great game against Rotherham when he was 6-4, one of my favourite. Jack Price, Liam McCannon, Ebanks Landell, Michael Jacobs, John Flack, Kevin Foley, and Nua Dicko.
I can't believe Foley was still there at that time. That's something I've learned just now. I thought Foley had gone by then, but yeah. So,
I don't have a massive amount of memorabilia. I do have my little
that's what I thought you were going to pick. That either that or one of the paintings that you've had done for you.
Yeah, I've got a few paintings and stuff like that. But I just thought, it's Wolves memorabilia. That program, it was, iconic date, 125 years.
Yeah.
And at that particular time, it was before all of this happened. 5 years ago, and before Fosun took over, and it's just see how far we've come.
Yeah.
And so much has happened just in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, so, and still Matt Doherty was still there. Yeah, lovely. Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Dave. It's been lovely to hear your stories and to chat to you. But go and check Dazzling Dave out over on all the different platforms that he said. Do you want to just give us them all again, Dave?
Yeah, just Dazzling Dave on YouTube. Just type in Dazzling Dave Wolves, you'll find me. And then on Instagram, it's Dazzling Dave without the G. And then on Twitter, it's _Dazzling Dave. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, Tom. It's been good fun.
Yeah.
And hopefully not too long before we see you at a game.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Right. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to this channel as well. You can check this out on various different podcast platforms as well. If you want to download it and listen to it on the go, Spotify and Acast and iTunes, etc. Have a look for it over there. But in the meantime, I'll be seeing you in a couple of days' time for another one of these. Thank you very much. Goodbye.